So today we are playing a self-mill graveyard recursion deck in the Sultai colours, so black, blue and green. Although it's mostly black and green, and the blue is just there for the 3 copies of Jace and the 1 copy of Shore Up. And unlike the other decks I've posted so far, this one is actually good. I'll go more into win rates and matchups at the end, but this can definitely hold its own on the Mythic ranked ladder and could probably get you to Mythic as well, if that's what you're looking for. So the way it works is we have a bunch of cards which mill ourselves. So, for example, Undead Butler, Blanchwood Prowler, Urborg Lhurgoyf, Tyvar, Jace. In fact, like half our deck can mill our library into our graveyard. So it's quite a creature-heavy deck. It's 25 creatures in total, and a lot of our stuff gets stronger the more creatures are in our graveyard. So, for example, our Taxidermists turn into 4/4s, our Lhurgoyfs get stronger and stronger, their power and toughness grows with the number of creatures in our graveyard. Deathbloom Ritualist can start tapping for very large amounts of mana once our graveyard is full of creatures. And then we have a couple of ways to get stuff back from our graveyard. So, for example, Urborg Repossession can get 1 or 2 cards depending on if it's kicked. Shigeki's channel ability can grab a bunch of stuff. So once like a half or even more, maybe like 3/4 of our deck is in our graveyard, Ritualist can tap for as much mana as you need to grab whatever you need from your graveyard to help you win the game. So you can either win just by having like massive Urborg Lhurgoyfs which bash the opponent down, or, you know, casting and recasting and sacking and then grabbing back and recasting Skyfisher Spiders, which can then destroy all their permanents. But what I quite often like to win with is milling the opponent out. So you can quite easily get into an infinite loop where you tap the Ritualist for mana, you use the mana to channel Shigeki to grab a Urborg Repossession and a Shore Up from your graveyard, cast the Shore Up on the Ritualist so it untaps, tap it for more mana, now cast the Urborg Repossession to kicked to grab a Shigeki and a Jace back, cast the Jace, -5, mill the opponent for 15, use the Shigeki to grab back the Shore Up and Repossession, untap the Ritualist, tap for more mana, and just keep repeating that until the opponent is milled out. So it's a lot of fun. When half your library is in your graveyard and you've got access to all those cards, you can really just sort of pick and choose whatever you need in that moment to win. So it's a very strategy kind of, if you like decks where you can think a lot about it and kind of figure out what the best way to win is and you have loads of options, then this is a deck for you. I really, really enjoy playing it, and it's honestly one of my favourite decks. So yeah, I'm going to show you some games now. Let's see how it does. Alright, on the play with a pretty good hand. Nice curve out. We could go Prowler into Jace, into Spider, into Ritualist. If we want to. If we don't draw any other alternatives in the meantime. Okay. Prowler whiffs. That's always annoying. But at least we've got our land drop for next turn already. Do we trade? I don't think we do. I think we let this come through and instead minus on the Felden and keep the Prowler back to trade with something that doesn't give them card advantage. Something that might come down this turn. Okay. So I think we just use the Spider now, sack the Prowler. They attack anyway. Okay. Sure. Sure, let's kill it. I think we'll take that trade. Let them dig a couple. Okay, Lightning Strike. We do need to remove this as soon as possible. So I think we remove it. And they've got a lightning strike next turn, so if we minus the Jace, they could use it on that instead of the Spider. I think we're fine with that. It leaves the Spider up to block something.
I will clear your mind.
Or they might just use a lightning strike on the Spider, play a hasty creature, attack the Jace and kill it. That would be the better play, but they might not have. They would need the lightning strike plus a 2-power 2-drop to do that. And they just go face. That's not an option I was considering, but hey. Okay, and they're just gonna send another poor little Felden to its death, being used to dig a bit deeper. Okay, they hit some lands and another lightning strike. Okay. Right. I think we need to start gaining some life. Luckily, we've got the Urborg Repossession for that. What can we grab back? Well, we've got a few options here. Let's just give them a big Lhurgoyf. Play the land first so we don't have to do a tap land. Okay. Try and get through this 7-8. And you know what? Let's make it even bigger. Mill another 6. Okay, 9, 10. And with an Urborg, do we want to grab something back? Not really. Let's wait another turn until we can kick it and grab 2 things. If there was an Urborg, for example, another one in the graveyard, I probably would have grabbed it there so that we could then replay it next turn and have 2 massive big Lhurgoyfs. Okay, you sure you want to do that, opponent? I now get to gain 10 life. Sure, we're back up to 21 and we have a 9-10 on board. It's not looking good for this poor little mono red opponent, and they see that too. They've scooped. That was very satisfying. I will never, ever, ever get tired beating mono red. We are on the play with a pretty good hand. All 3 colours, plenty of stuff to do. So we have a choice here between Blanchwood Prowler, make sure we hit our 3rd land drop, or Taxidermist. I think I like this more, because then next turn we can, even if we miss our land drop, we can still play Blanchwood Prowler, and if we get an untapped land, we'll then have 2 mana left over to also play Undead Butler. Okay, we don't even need to. Make sure to tap this first in case they kill it in response to the first creature going on the stack. And we get another land, great. And we mill some more. So looks like we're up against Esper control probably. There's a lot of that on the ladder right now. That's what I would guess we're facing. They usually run quite a few planeswalkers and the usual counter spells and removal that you'd expect from a control deck. Celestus. So we can probably expect to see a board wipe next turn. So I don't want to play out any more creatures. But what we can do is play out the Tyvar, because that will survive any board wipe they might have. Grab an Urborg back. We could also play another Undead Butler, but I think it makes sense to be a bit more careful here and assume we're about to see a board wipe. No, nothing yet. Interesting. They leave all of their mana open though. So it could be a Wandering Emperor. It could be Memory Deluge. I think let's start off by trying to attack with everything and see what happens. Yep, okay, Wandering Emperor. So this suggests maybe they don't have a board wipe. The fact that they're playing out a creature. If they did, you'd expect them to use the exile mode there. So I think we play out the spider and kill something. So we can sack the Undead Butler and destroy their Wandering Emperor.
Try not to.
Do we need any of these creatures in the graveyard? Sure. Let's get another spider back. And untap something, the Blanchwood Prowler, I guess, because that's what we're happiest to chump block with if they remove the spider and attack the Tyvar. Okay, they have a removal for the Tyvar. We do get a clue token though, and the fact they're playing even more creatures out implies that they not only don't have a board wipe now, but they might not even run many in their whole deck. Because we're not exactly posing a lethal threat anytime soon with what we have on the board. I think let's just crack the clue token and see what we get. And let's run out the Butler, carry on milling. Another couple of creatures into the graveyard, that's nice. It's putting our Urborg up to 3-4 now. It's not, they could still block with everything if we attacked with it. Are we okay with that? I think we are, because then it allows everything else to attack next turn. Because if they block with everything, all they'll have left over at the end is a 1-1. Okay, so they don't, they just jump. Another Sunset Revelry. They can draw another card. They don't gain life this time though, because they're now on more life than us. I think that's just from our pain lands that we've gone down to 18. An opponent is hovering their lands a lot. Not sure why. Maybe trying to make sure they'll have the mana for something next turn, or... They're thinking long and hard about something. Okay, Jace. So this will be pretty funny. If they want to mill us, then that's actually, we're kind of happy with that. The more they mill us, the stronger the Urborg gets. Great, it's now a 6/7. And Tyvar is an interesting draw. We have Shigeki in the yard as well, and the Shore Up and a Jace. We're really close to going infinite. We just need a few more creatures. So how can we mill some more creatures? I guess with the Tyvar.
This will be quick.
And the Undead Butler is ideal because he'll mill even more creatures. Well, okay, I guess he won't mill more creatures, but he could have. So, is there anything we want to grab back? There's nothing else which mills more creatures in the yard. So I think for now think for now we just pass back. This will obviously just get chumped by 1/1, but we have to start getting rid of their chump blockers at some point, so might as well start. They don't really have any good attacks, so we don't have to worry too much about them attacking our Tyvar. So I think we if they leave the Tyvar unanswered, I think we could maybe go infinite next turn and mill them to death, because we can play the Ritualist, immediately tap it for mana, untap it, tap it for more mana, and then we grab some like an Urborg back from the graveyard to mill more, just to get it up to sort of 10 or 11 creatures and really ensure that we can go infinite. Okay, they're doing the milling for us. Great, we're up to 9 now. Ideally they'll kill 1 or 2 of our creatures this turn as well. That would be better. Okay. Okay, great.
I'll finish this here and now.
Although this means that they can kill the Tyvar, unless... Okay, it doesn't. Great. I think this means we can go infinite next turn. They've done our job for us with killing all our creatures, so we don't have to do extra milling. Nope, nope. We don't want to do any of this. We want to leave them all in the graveyard. Ah, they do have a cut down as well. Okay. So they take the Tyvar.
What a grand fight!
So if we play the Ritualist, it almost certainly just gets removed. So we kind of need to get the Tyvar down and have him survive 1 turn. So let's try and do that. Let's grab back a Shigeki so we can get into the infinite combo next turn. And a Tyvar. Play the Tyvar, and I think we just uptick so that this Samurai is not strong enough to kill it. And now we just have to hope they don't have enough interaction to stop the combo next turn, and that they can't kill the Tyvar this turn.
We can win this together.
Become subdued.
Okay, looks good so far. We just now need to hope that they do not have counter magic or removal. Okay, they can get it up to 3. Still not quite enough to kill it. Okay. Now we want to leave our blue mana open if possible, because we can tap it for black, untap it, tap it for green, and then we need a blue to cast the shore up on it. So this is fine, leaving a blue open. Do they have counter magic? They don't. So I think we start off by tapping green, untapping it, and this is where they'll play a removal spell if they have it. But at least we've already got 13 green mana in the bank to do some stuff with Shigeki. Okay, this is fine, because we can grab the shore up. They're now tapped out. They're going to exile it. Okay, so we need to grab a shore up and an Urborg Repossession. We cast the shore up. We let the Tyvar. I let the Tyvar trigger resolve without tapping it again. Huge mistake. Okay. That is unfortunate. We now need to get the Shigeki and a way to generate a blue mana, or just another Tyvar. Another Tyvar's fine.
Let's see what this
Untap
next
it, and now we have the blue mana,
There's that second wind.
and we can start milling the opponent.
Phyrexia showed me the truth. Flesh will always be your victory. I pull one thread, and your entire mind
Grab the Shore Up and the Urborg Repossession. Shore Up. Add some green. Grab the Shigeki and the Jace. And opponent scoops, they've seen enough. So, there's the combo. On the draw with a decent hand, Prowler to help us find our land drop. I actually really like Blanchwood Prowler. You almost never see it used, but there's something about just having... You can keep so many more hands, right? You can always keep a 2-lander when you've got Prowler in it, because you can kind of assume you're going to hit your 3rd land drop. It doesn't always happen, but it usually does. Just about got it there on the third card milled. So we're against Simic is what we're seeing so far, and a Malevolent Hermit and a Cemetery. Wow, okay, cards we have to read. Right. When it ends battlefield or attacks, exile card from a graveyard. So that's already bad. Bad news for us. And then they can cast spells from the top of their library. Okay, so they've taken the Shore Up. So we will not win via infinite combo this game. They've taken the 1 copy of Shore Up in the whole deck. We need to kill that, really, don't we? So we can Skyfish Spider next turn. And at least for now... I guess we do this. We hit the Butler, very nice. This will die to the Cemetery Illuminator, but we don't really care. So nice, lots of creatures in the yard. They'll obviously, well, not obviously, but they'll probably take one with the Cemetery Illuminator. Although, they'll probably take Repossession, won't they? They probably want instants and sorceries. Nope, they do take the Taxidermist, so now they can, and now they'll probably get the sorcery. So they can play sorceries, instants, and creatures from the top of their library. Oh, they take another creature. So is that so they can play a creature with each of them? I'm not sure. So let's kill one of them. And then use the Butler's ability to grab another Skyfish Spider to kill the other one next turn. Because anything that exiles our graveyards is bad news. Right, it'll stop our Lhurgoyf from growing, it'll stop our Deathbloom Ritualist from being able to generate tons of mana. Okay, Mirrorhole Mimic. Cool deck. This is a really interesting deck from opponent. I love playing against weird, non-standard decks. Still not completely clear exactly what they're trying to do, but maybe it will become apparent. It seems to be working so far. They're killing all of our things and exiling our graveyard, so... Sure. Now we can kill the other one and finally start growing our graveyard without it just all getting exiled. Opponent's almost out of cards. Just 2 left. This can counter non-creature spells, right? Yep. Still, we're in an okay position here. We can mill some stuff with the Tyvar, grab some stuff back, mill some more, get a massive Lhurgoyf down. Conduit of Worlds, so once per turn they can cast a spell from their graveyard. So we'd kind of like to kill that, because otherwise it's just going to get the Cemetery Illuminators back. We don't have any spiders though, they're all exiled. Tricky. The only way we can get rid of this is either a Skyfish Spider or a Boseiju, the channel land. So I guess maybe let's start off with Prowler. Maybe it'll mill a spider into the graveyard, or even better, it could mill the Boseiju. No, it does hit a land though. Okay, well let's give them a massive big Lhurgoyf to deal with. Oh wow. Oh wow, whiffed hard there. 5 lands and a Planeswalker. Maybe they'll trade. If they trade with this, that would be good. We could grab it back with Urborg Repossession and then cast it next turn. Unfortunately they don't trade. They are indeed going to get the Cemetery Illuminator back. So now not only do we have to kill the Conduit of Worlds, but we also have to kill the Cemetery Illuminator. Shigeki. Doesn't really do anything for us at the moment. Okay, well let's mill some more. Ah, this is where they could counter it with the Hermit if they want, but we would be able to pay the 3.
Good.
There's another spider. Okay,
We can win.
let's get the Prowler back and mill some more. There's another spider. Okay. So let's attack both of these. Okay, they trade now. So we have 3 spiders in the graveyard now. They choose to gain the life. We don't need the life. Decline. And then I think we hold up Shigeki's channel ability, because if we play Urborg Repossession now, right, and try and grab the 2 spiders back, they just counter it with the Hermit. Whereas they can't counter the channel ability from the Shigeki, so I think it makes more sense to hold up, even though it's way more expensive. It's 4 mana to get 1 spider back as opposed to 3 mana to get 2 spiders, but it can't be countered, so I think we do the safe play, which is this way around. So okay, cool. Some more stuff from opponent. The question is, do we kill the Illuminator first or the Conduit? I think we have to kill the Conduit first, otherwise they can just cast the Illuminator again next turn. They're taking the spiders. Okay. So ideally we should grab both of them next turn to stop them exiling any more. The other one's still in there, right? So that's one of them. Yep, and the other one's there. So now we use this without the kicker because otherwise they can counter it with the Hermit. I mean, they could force us to pay 3, which then wouldn't leave us enough mana to play the Spider if we did the Urborg Repossession with kicker there. Okay. Okay, what does this do? Can make stuff phase out. Wow, okay. This is a cool deck that we're up against. I still haven't quite figured out the synergies. I mean, I guess they've got some mill with teachings, which then gives them more stuff to play with the Conduit of Worlds. Sure, the Prowler can attack. But other than that, I haven't quite figured out what's happening yet. But it's cool. It's always fun playing against weird stuff. They choose not to trade the Spectral Adversary. So, that's it, right? That's all of our copies. We've got 2 are exiled, 1 in hand. Okay, so there is 1 more in the deck. Oh no, we've got this one in play. So if they attack, we can trade with it though. Get that one into the yard as well. And then try and get it back and recast it. So it's a bit like whack-a-mole, isn't it? You grab a spider back, try and kill one of their things, and then something else pops up that you have to kill. Sure. Take this trade. Now we've got another spider to potentially grab back and recast. Okay. What's he going to phase out here? Phasing out his Conduit of Worlds and the Illuminator so that we can't kill either of them in our turn. Nice move. I rate that. Good stuff from opponent. So we've got a few ways now to grab the spider back, right? We can either Skyfish Spider, sack the Undead Butler and grab it back, or we can now use the Takenuma to mill some and grab it back. How about instead of trying to kill... Okay, let's kill both of their remaining blockers and attack with the Lhurgoyf for a lot of damage. It'll be... I guess it'll be 8 power by the time... 9 power, something like that. 8 or 9 power by the time we can actually attack. So we exile the Butler, grab the other spider, cast the other spider, sacrifice the Prowler. So at least what? Yeah, 10 damage. Okay. So puts them to 4 unless they have an instant speed answer. So as it stands, we are presenting lethal next turn. Even if they can exile a couple more cards from our graveyard. Okay, no, we're not presenting lethal anymore because we'd need to remove one of these blockers. And they can obviously cast something from their graveyard. I wonder what the Kami is in here for. We haven't seen... This, I guess this has +1/+1 counters, right? But only on itself, because ideally with Kami you want to like put +1/+ counters on it and start generating huge amounts of mana with it, but so I guess let's mill ourselves. Mill 3 cards, draw 3 cards. What does this this just means their spells can't be countered. Okay. In fact, we could mill them if we're worried about decking ourselves. No, let's mill ourselves, go on. Why not? We've still got 16 cards left and they haven't shown any way to mill.
We can improve upon your ideas.
Okay. Another Ritualist. Okay. Well, we just attack with everything. They're going to have to do some jumping. Might even do some trades here. They are. Sure, okay, let's take out the Cemetery Illuminator. We don't want to exile it to gain 12 life because we kind of need it in our graveyard to be able to potentially grab back again. So opponent's down to 1. They're charging up their blast zone. So we've got a 2, 4, a 5 and a 4. So no perfect targets for their blast zone. They can either use it to get rid of just the Urborg. It would also get rid of their Kirin and their Hermit. So 2 is not an ideal choice for them. This is a nice little interaction with Conduit of Worlds. You can just sacrifice it, draw a card, play it again, sacrifice it, draw a card next turn. That's nice. I actually tried making a land destruction deck at some point with Blast Zones and Conduit of Worlds, which just repeatedly... sorry, not Blast Zones, Demolition Fields, which just tries to repeatedly destroy their lands every turn, then just play the land again next turn. Okay, do they have an answer here? Good game. No, they don't. Oh, yep. They can do that. I don't know why they said good game. Bit premature. Do we have to worry about decking ourselves? I don't think they have board wipes, so honestly, at this point, I think we just go try and get and cast as many creatures as possible. Okay. Or just draw a whole bunch of lands. Nice that we milled 3 spells and drew 3 lands. Still, they need to get at least 3 chump blockers down here. They're digging. They got 5 mana left. Can they play 3 chump blockers or kill some of our creatures and some chump blockers with 5 mana? We have 3 cards left in library. It's a close one. Teachings, that's going to give them 1. There's another, and it's not quite enough. Opponent concedes. So a close one. 3 turns left, but we got there, just about. Okay, we're on the play. 2 lands, but we've got the Prowler to help us find our 3rd. We can then start milling with Tyvar. Hopefully Prowler will mill something that we can grab back with the Tyvar on turn 3. Opponent plays a Plains. We grab our 3rd land, although we drew an Otawara, but nice to be able to hold this in hand in case we need to cast it or channel it. Okay. Opponent looking like mono white. Let's see what happens if we attack. Okay, nothing. Right, we do have an Undead Butler, great. So we can mill some more and grab the Butler back. Wow, 3 lands milled, okay. More lands milled, okay. Well, we stopped ourselves from flooding out quite bad there. We had 5 lands in the top 6 cards. Welcoming Vampire, I think we have to kill that. We can't go letting them draw a bunch of cards. Sure. Sack the Prowler. Let's keep the Undead Butler alive until there's something we really want to grab back from the graveyard. Attack with the Butler and then I guess untap it.
We can do this all.
So, if opponents playing Welcoming Vampire, they're probably a creature-based deck, so we probably don't have to worry about board wipes, which is nice. And I think here we can just go ahead and play out a massive Lhurgoyf. Attacking forces 1 damage through, although they might be scared to block with the Adeline. They might think we have some trick up our sleeves. Nope, okay. So we get the 1 damage through. And then we play a big Lhurgoyf. Wow, okay. Again, we mill only 1. 1 creature. Okay, well I think let's mill some more with the Tyvar. There they are, that's more like it. And we can grab back a Prowler to mill even more. There we go. There they're coming. Okay, 7-8. That's a bit more like it. Looks like opponent does have removal though. Lay down arms. Okay. That's fine. Wandering Emperor. Okay.
I've learned much during
Interesting
my
choice to do that main phase. Maybe they're worried about counter spells. We are running blue after all. Okay, we can take out this. Another spider. Do we have a creature we want to grab back? Yes, we want to grab back the Lhurgoyf. So first let's go the Prowler. This is a bit risky, but it would be nice to hit another land. We do hit another land. Then we can Spider, sack the Butler, kill the Adeline, exile the Butler, grab back the Lhurgoyf, and kill the Emperor. So pretty good turn there. Dealt with all of their threats. Let's see what else they've got. Another Welcoming Vampire. Okay. And another Adeline. Okay. So we could grab back a Spider here and kill their Vampire. I think we do that, to be honest. They've only got 2 cards in hand, and if we kill their Welcoming Vampire, that stops them from drawing more. And we can certainly deal with an Adeline on its own. So we're definitely grabbing the Spider. The question is what we grab with the other choice. Do we just make sure we hit our land drop? I think let's grab a Jace and start drawing cards. We've got 20 cards in graveyard. Oh! No, we need a land to be able to cast the Spider this turn. Okay, so this and a land. Spider, sack the Prowler, kill the Welcoming Vampire. And I guess we hang back. This will probably put them off attacking with the Adeline, because we could obviously double block. And even if they play another creature to get it up to 3 power, we'd still be happy to trade. Okay, that's fine. Excuse me. Alright, and now let's play out a big Lhurgoyf, see if they've got an answer for it. We have to be a bit careful about decking ourselves. We're going to be down to 16 cards in graveyard after this. Sorry, 16 cards in library. This is now a 4/4. And I guess let's hold the Shigeki now. We might want to grab something from our graveyard next turn. Interesting that they block the 2 damage, not the 3. Worried about a pump spell, maybe? Have they seen the shore? Yeah, they have seen the shore up, so maybe worried about that. Although we don't have any blue mana open. Not sure what they're playing around there, but we'll take it. An extra point of damage. And depending on what they do, we could grab back another spider with the Shigeki next turn and play that. Okay. Opponent doing quite well at removing all of our threats so far. Voice of the Blessed, okay. So are they like a life gain deck? Have we seen any way for them to gain life? Wandering Emperor, I guess. So what could we grab back with the Shigeki? Spider? Kill something? Sure. Although, it would be nice to make sure we can grab more stuff next turn. So maybe let's do it at their end step for like X equals 3. And then we can grab a 2 creatures and a Urborg Repossession to make sure we can then grab the Shigeki back if we need to grab more stuff later. This deck, you always feel a bit vulnerable if you don't have a Shigeki or an Urborg Repossession in hand. Because if you do, then your entire graveyard's basically your hand, right? You can choose from any of these cards. So if you're down to just top decking with no way to grab stuff from your graveyard, it feels kind of bad. Which is why I'm holding up Shigeki now. And we'll instead use it now for X equals 3 to grab 2 creatures, I guess, and a Urborg Repossession. Although, we could just go like this. Shore up. Ah, we can't grab the Tyvar. I was going to say we could just go infinite next turn. We've got 1 spider. Okay, so let's grab an Urborg Repossession, a Skyfish Spider, and some way to mill a few more cards would be nice. Okay, let's grab the Prowler. Mill a few more cards, grab a land. Play the Spider. Sack the Prowler. You know what, instead of getting the Lhurgoyf back, I think we'd be better off killing this, because now our attacks are good. And we can take out their Wandering Emperor. Still have 3 mana left. So let's grab back Shigeki and Tyvar. And then we've got infinite mana next turn if we need it. Steel Seraph. Probably give it flying. Oh no, lifelink. Oh yeah, it doesn't need flying, because the spider has reach anyway. Sure. Okay, let's just let them kill it. Get as much possible into the graveyard, so that we can go infinite this turn. Sure. We need to make sure to leave a blue open. That is what Auto Tapper leaves open. So
Make it a fight to remember.
black, and let's mill a little bit more. We want like 10 or 11 creatures in graveyard ideally to make the loop. There's 10. There's 12. Okay, that definitely does it.
I believe in you, friend.
Green, grab back the Shore Up and the Urborg's Repossession. Untap. Tap for blue. Grab the Shigeki and the Jace. Play out the Jace. And about now is usually when they concede, because they can see what's happening. Demonstrated the infinite combo already. They might want to see me do it a couple of times to really be sure. Sometimes they make you play it out completely, which is fair enough. Could always make a mistake or something. Jace. Running a little low on blue and black, so instead of playing the Jace, I'm instead gonna just do a couple of cycles of just generating mana to make sure we don't run out of blue or black. In fact, that's fine now.
Surrender your mind to Phyrexia's will.
Mill the opponent. So one more now needed. So with this we just grab Shigeki and the Jace. Play out the Jace. And that's it. Opponent is milled out. So that's it. There's the combo in action. Alright, we're on the draw, and the hand's not ideal. We'd never really want the Shore Up in the starting hand, and we only have one way to mill. But we're on the draw, so we could easily draw into some more milling cards. There we go. So that will be useful. So opponent playing blue-white so far. Maybe a control-y kind of deck. So priority only froze once the Prowler was in play, meaning they've got something that interacts with creatures. Maybe a Fateful Absence, March of Otherworldly Light maybe, Fading Hope, a few things it could be. Let's try and attack, see what happens. Nothing, okay. I guess we just keep milling. I'm playing the sort of things we care least about getting countered first, because they've got 3 mana open. If they are holding up a counter spell, it would be nice to use it on Butler. And once they've got 4 mana open, they're kind of in the territory where they don't really want to be playing their 2 mana counter spells. They'd rather be playing something like Memory Deluge. So I prefer to play out the sort of cards we care more about once they've got more mana open, and give them a tough decision between their Memory Deluge or their, you know, Make Disappear or whatever it is. Okay, lay down arms. So that's not what was holding up priority first turn, because that was in our turn. But we're fine to let that Undead Butler go. I don't think it's worth using the Shore Up on it. So now we don't really want the Tyvar to get countered. So I think we play out the Shigeki first to play around Make Disappear, and then the Taxidermist second, because we care less about the Taxidermist getting killed. Let's attack with the Prowler. Maybe they'll use a kill spell on the Shigeki and then we can use Shore Up. Okay, let's just play out the Taxidermist, see if it gets countered. We got to get the counters out of them at some point. Nope. Still nothing. And there's their Deluge. Presumably main stage, main phase, because they need to hit their land drop. Either that or they're playing around counter spells. Okay, so now they are fully tapped out. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a board wipe next turn. So I think we attack with everything. We play the Tyvar out, which would survive a board wipe. We untap the Shigeki, and we leave up 2 mana to return it to hand in case they do wipe. But right now it's not really worth it for them, right? If we'd have played out the Ritualist or some more creatures, maybe they would board wipe, but right now they're only getting 2 things because we can get the Shigeki back. Soul Partition. Okay. Fine. Ambitious Farmhand. So, opponent playing some kind of like weird Azorious mid-range pile. Kind of control-y, but with Ambitious Farmhand for some reason. Okay, let's mill some cards. Ramp a little bit if we hit a land. We do hit land. And the Taxidermist is now a 4/4. It's pretty good. So let's attack with it. Try and get some damage in. And I think again we just play out the Tyvar. Don't want to get too many creatures out in case they have a board wipe. They have Make Disappear. That's okay. Okay, sure, let's play the Shigeki out. If they really want to board wipe 3 creatures, they can. They're on 7 mana, so they might want to flash back the Deluge this turn. Eternal Wanderer, okay.
Try to best me, if you can. Kneel before the Emperor of Kamigawa.
So they need a creature. Oh no, okay. That does it. Okay. So we can play both of these this turn, but it doesn't achieve much. I think we're better off just playing the Tyvar out. Milling 3. And taking the Shigeki, who we can then immediately bring back to hand using Tyvar's ability. And then play him again with the Shore Up. Unfortunately, we didn't get any or many creatures there, so we're still a little bit away from actually going infinite with the Ritualist.
I'm ready to win.
Okay, opponent plays another Planeswalker.
I've got eyes everywhere.
Hopefully they use their last 2 mana to try and kill something. Okay, well, I think this is as good a time as any for our Shore Up. They might have another Soul Petition or something. They don't, or at least they decide not to use it. Hopefully they tap out, and we might be able to go infinite next time just by milling a bit more by bouncing the Shigeki back. and recasting it and bouncing it again. Skyfish Spider, not exactly what we want. So let's start off, see how many creatures we can mill. If this hits 3 creatures, no, 0 creatures. Okay, that's unfortunate. Pretty much the rest of our deck must be creatures. We've milled so many cards and had so few creatures so far. Okay, well let's play out the Ritualist. Might run into a counter spell here. No. Let's mill a bit more with Shigeki. There we go, there's 3 creatures. So we're getting close now. If we untap... The problem is we have no blue mana open for the shore up. Do we have another Ritualist or something else? We can get the Taxidermist to tap for blue mana. Oh, we have another Ritualist. So if we go green here, use Shigeki for 3. That leaves us with 5 mana open. It's not quite enough. Shigeki for 2. Yeah, Shigeki for 2. Grab the Ritualist and an Urborg Repossession. Play the Ritualist. I don't know if it's going to be good enough. Tap for green. Grab back the Shigeki and... Tyvar? This is not the way we normally combo off, but... Oh, did Auto Tapper just use the last black mana? That's very annoying if it did. I thought we had one more. Okay. Well, let's just use the rest of this mana to mill a bit more. An opponent saying hello. So, as long as they don't kill both of these next turn, we've definitely got enough mana to go infinite now. 12 cards left in library. We need to survive one more turn. Opponent only has 2 cards in hand, so they might not be able to ruin our plans. They can bounce one of them with the Eternal Wanderer, or blink it. They can draw a card with the Teferi. They can kill the Tyvar, but we don't need the Tyvar anymore. That's fine. They do have the Sweeper. We have another Ritualist, but I'm not sure we're going to have enough mana.
Another mystery solved.
So we've got 13 lands out. 14 lands out. We play the Tyvar. We've got 11 lands left. We can grab back the Ritualist and the Urborg Repossession. This is going to tap all of our lands though. If they've got a make disappear, we're screwed. Okay, they let it resolve. So we get black. Thanks. Opponent admiring our shenanigans, but it looks like they're going to interrupt the combo here. Soul Partition. Okay. We could use... I don't think there's anything we can do here. We need the green mana. So we're stuck with 13 floated black mana and nothing to cast it on. Okay. Sure. We pass back. When we try again next turn, the opponent is not making it easy for us. They're making it as difficult as it could possibly be. But again, they're low on cards. They would need to get some more interaction.
Show them the edge of your blade.
One card in hand, but I mean they've got a deluge they can flash back, and they would still have what, 3 mana open.
I am here to learn.
That is what they do. Let's see. I mean, digging 7 cards deep, it's kind of likely they're going to get something that can mess with the combo, right? Do we have any more Ritualists in Graveyard? We don't. We need this one. They're going to kill our Tyvar again. So we can use the Urborg Repossession to grab a Shigeki and a Tyvar. I mean, let's go for it, right? We're here to combo. We're gonna keep trying. Play the Tyvar. Play the Ritualist. Leave open a blue. That's good. This time everything's resolving nice and quick, so maybe opponent doesn't have any removal. So I think we might have got it. Urborg Repossession and Shore Up. Thanks. Opponent nicing us. So there we go. Now we've got the blue as well. We get the Shigeki and the Jace. We play the Jace. I'm not sure if opponent's nices or sarcastic or not. You never know. If I come up against decks like this and they start doing some weird stuff, getting into infinite loops, I very much unironically nice them. But you never know, do you? They might be tired of, or they might not enjoy losing like this, which I can understand. I guess it's a matter of preference how you like to play the game. Okay. So one more cycle after this.
The weak-minded will be educated in Phyrexia's ways.
Opponent continues to nice us. Shore Up. And they've seen enough. Okay. Well, that was a close one. They made it difficult for us. We tried unsuccessfully twice to get into the infinite combo. But third time's a charm. We got there in the end. Okay, back for a little recap here. So as you saw, the deck's pretty good. Won a lot of games. I can actually show you here the untapped profile. So during the kind of testing and tweaking the deck and recording process, I played 25 matches and went 18-7, and that's entirely at mythic ranked, mostly the sort of high 90% kind of area. It had an unfavourable matchup against mono red. everything else looks decent. Obviously, this is a small sample size, so take everything with a pinch of salt. I expect it in the long run, it would probably do better than 25% against mono red, and it would obviously do worse than 100% at some decks. You can never beat any deck 100% reliably, especially in best of one. So maybe some tweaks could be made to make the matchup against mono red more favourable. Maybe add in a couple of cut downs, or, you know, some early removal, because the deck... Hold on, let me get back the... So the deck's only removal is Skyfisher Spider, which, even if you like turn 2 Taxidermist and ramp into it, that's earliest turn 3 you can remove one thing, and basically mono red by turn 3 has about 7 creatures down and you're already almost dead. The life gain from Spider is really, really good, so that can save your ass sometimes, but even just getting to turn 4 and being able to cast it isn't always easy. So not a great matchup against mono red, but I feel like every other matchup is pretty favourable. It probably wouldn't do well in best of 3 because a lot of people run Graveyard Hate in the sideboard. It also really struggles against like Farewell decks that can exile the graveyard, but other than that, it mostly does pretty well. And another thing I wanted to mention is, if you're not the kind of infinite loop, mill the opponent kind of player, and you sort of prefer to win by kind of fairer means, then what you could do is scrap the blue completely, get rid of the Jace and the Shore Up, and instead run something that like gives everything trample, like maybe Storm the Seed Core, where you can put a bunch of counters and stuff gets trample, or Ulvenwald Oddity, I think is called, that big green creature that can transform into an even bigger one that gives everyone trample and haste. So you could kind of maybe play with having 2 or 3 copies of an alternative win con and not going for milling the opponent, and instead just trying to kill them with your big creatures. But yeah, the deck, I think I've played quite a few versions. I tweaked the deck quite a bit and settled on this. There's some other cards which seem at first like must includes, like Stick Fingers and Rutstein, or Old Rutstein, whatever he's called. I found them to just not be that good. Just a bit too slow. Like, the thing I really like this is you don't really care if your early creatures die, and in fact you kind of want them to die. Whereas if you're playing like a turn 3 Old Stick Fingers, he needs to stay alive for several turns to get any value out of it. So it's annoying when they remove him, and I found it just to be better just to like play a bunch of early creatures, mill your graveyard, and then later in the game, once they've maybe already used all their removal, you can then sort of start playing your actual creatures that you care about, like the Ritualist. And even if they kill that, you can just bring that back again as well, right, with the Repossession or the Shigeki. So it's a really powerful deck, and it's a lot of fun to play. So I can definitely recommend it, and if you do try it out, I hope you enjoy it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.